Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation.
We are the dreamers of dreams.
Originally, I never planned on building houses. I would have never thought of it. But I was working like anyone else, taking my time, trying to just pay for being alive, and in case there's some kind of an emergency. But what ended up happening is I'm always breaking even, and I see so many other people getting in debt that they'll maybe never get out of. This is when I started coming up with what I was calling the want more system versus the need less system. I was looking up the rates of inflation, the rates of income, the cost of living. I was comparing a 1,200 square foot house, both traditional construction and alternative construction. And what I came up with after looking at so many decades of numbers is that your cost of living is essentially almost equal to your profit. You never really do make much money in savings. Whereas the need less system, for example, you start reducing your cost over time, and the more time goes by, the more you end up earning. When I tried to figure out what it was that I would actually need to reduce the cost of living over time, every single time it came back to houses. It came back to utilities and heating and cooling, and then paying mortgage and rent. They're incredibly inefficient. They're built to not hold heat or cool. You're constantly losing money. They fail. They're built to just fall apart, even with what's considered the standardized concrete rebar reinforced construction will fail at only 6.0 or 7.0 earthquakes. This is when I first came across dome construction and saw that even with an extra 18 something tons, the domes do not fail under the heaviest quakes. Later, I had come across these alternative buildings that people had made themselves. They were called earthships, and some of them were extremely extravagant, but still very, very beautiful, and the cost was extremely low. Their method of building was essentially taking earth and ramming it inside of old tires and stacking them like bricks to make these walls. But they also really focused heavily on sustainability. They had really advanced water collection systems and reuse systems, gray water, where they would take dirty water and pump it into a sort of a filtered garden bed that would later be pumped up, and plant roots would actually clean this water. Earthships also focused heavily on food production. They would use this recycled water to make sure they had year-round food. Cal Earth was something we came across later on, where their building method was using very cheap materials, these bags and barbed wire, that anyone could really get their mind around how to construct with this method. And it turns out that this had been in our hometown for at least 30, 40 years. And a lot of these buildings are still standing, some of the ones that the original founder had created. Later, I had come across a YouTube channel called My Little Homestead, and they were using the same method to build each member of the family a small little home of their own. And this was very detailed build videos. There was a lot of great stuff to learn from them. And they also had a really good detailed cost calculator, so you can see how cheap these things ended up becoming in the end. Later, I had come across another guy named Alasha Linov, and he has this really great combination of like 7 different schools that he puts into one really affordable online course where anyone can learn. He's a very creative guy. Also, Peter Vesh was somebody that I was really interested in because I loved the way he had earth growing on top of his structures. It was not only for the look, but it was really, really effective at keeping out the elements. And it was one of my other biggest inspirations for our final product. So we had begun designing just with some small little sketches and ideas, things that we just would like to see, but then we needed it to be practical as well. So we started making small little models and things based on what we have been learning online and learning from Cal Earth. We later started doing more detailed drawings of the build process and some of the interiors of the building, some of the exteriors as well, and you can see inside of some of the structures, some of the systems that I wanted to create. Later we did a much more calculated cost of how much bag we would need. We developed a very detailed water system where it's mostly gravity fed. Later we had started a scale blueprint that we wanted to be much more detailed, since we were hoping that this would end up becoming our final house. This is about the same time that we started going to Cal Earth as students. We learned the principles of the arch. We got some experience behind using the bag method. We actually learned a lot from some of the older structures on the campus. They were built in the same way that we were learning how to build, and some of them were 8 years old, unprotected, and still standing. Anyone can help with this building technique. You could help with shovelfuls of earth, and the tamping is one technique only, but our instructors actually showed us that in their home they prefer to pour a wet bag and just let gravity and the water compact it for you. Here you can see the principles of the arch holding itself up. Our instructors even showing us the arch is strong enough with just one layer of bag to support his entire weight. And this was something that we could complete in just one day. We later did the plastering, which only took a day as well. And we both got full certification and were allowed to run courses if we wish. Diana started taking our scale blueprint and then making a clay model out of it. This is something that started really simply, but it ended up taking well over a year to finally complete every last detail. And you can see we really started getting extremely detail oriented with it. This model is also a 1/60th scale model. I tried to create a dissected look so that you can see both the exterior and the interior workings. We even added in some of the systems like the solar and some of the water lines that were going to be in there. Our final construction had these plates that could be removed. That way you can see both the greenhouse and the covered building and uncovered as well. That way anyone could see the structure underneath, but then still see each of the details, just like the dissected view I was trying to do in the back of the greenhouse.
My dear friends, you are now about to enter the nerve center to the entire Wonka factory. Ladies and gentlemen, the chocolate room. This is going to be such an exciting day. I hope you enjoy it. I think you will. On we go!
I know, it's a miracle.
Your imagination is real.
You'll be free.
Chocolate.
I know,
Oh,
change the world.
your imagination
It could change the world.
On we go!
What's it making, Mr. Wonka? Mr. Wonka worked the factory.
In your wildest dreams, you could not imagine.
Mr. Wonka, Mr. Wonka. What's it making, Mr. Wonka? Mr. Wonka worked the factory.
We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams.
My dream, my dream, my dream, my dream, my dream, my dream, my dream.
Mr. Wonka worked the factory. Mr. Wonka, Wonka, what's happening? Mr. Wonka, Wonka.
You're going to love this. Just love it.
Oompa, loompa, doompa-dee-doo. I've got another puzzle for you. Oompa, loompa, doompa-da-dee. If you are wise, you'll listen to me. Doompa-dee, doompa-dee, doompa-dee-doo.
Oompa Loompas.
Doompa, doompa-da, doompa-da. Doompa, doompa-da, doompa-dee-doo.
Sensational!
Doompa-dee, doompa-dee, doompa-dee-doo.
Oompa Loompas.
Doompa, doompa-da, doompa-da. Doompa, doompa-da, doompa-dee-doo.
You'll be free,
Come and live with me in peace and safety.
be free.
It's the only way if you want it just right.
Chocolate.
I know,
It's a miracle.
Your imagination is real.
you'll be free.
Chocolate.
I know,
Oh, change the world. Your imagination
It could change the world.
On we go!
What's it making, Mr. Wonka? Mr. Wonka worked the factory.
In your wildest dreams, you could not imagine.
Mr. Wonka, Mr. Wonka. What's it making, Mr. Wonka? Mr. Wonka worked the factory.
We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams.
my dream, my dream, my dream, my dream,
It's the most wonderful place in the whole world.
my dream, my dream.
Adieu, adieu. Parting is such sweet sorrow.
So here I'm showing only the water systems. These will have 2 cisterns that are fed with gravity only down a 45-degree slope. The water starts in the basement with a main shutoff and is then sent up to the top of the greenhouse. This is where the hot water systems are. These are 4 separate tanks that will be in full southern sun exposure, where they'll use the concrete's thermal mass as a heating source. This will be an alternative heating source in case there's no sun or it's cool weather. You can use a rocket stove with a coil that will naturally pump through convection the hot water into the tanks. These are solar stills, which will face the southern sun and take water and distill it for drinking water. Here's our filtration systems. These will take gray water and it will send them through a series of filters, which are all natural and use wetland, grasses, and plants to filter out toxins, heavy metals, skin cells, safe soaps. Now we'll take a look at the plumbing. These are set up to be switched between either black water or gray water systems. The toilets are set up to be black water only, whereas the sinks and bathtubs will have a 3-way switch where we can switch between regular black water, shut off, or gray water. I had to teach myself how plumbing systems were set up. I had to learn about vents and cleanouts. I had to learn the angle of slope for every foot. And then here's where it will meet up with our septic tank that goes out into a leach field. This leach field will have the same sort of wetland plants for filtration. Now we're going to take a look at the air systems. The air systems will have a series of rock-like structures that are actually going to be wind catchers. These will be facing the coastal winds, and all the air will be funneled inside of these rock structures into tubes. These tubes will combine and reduce to create a natural kind of air pressure. This will then be pumped down into the basement where there's a control room. This control room will then split the air into either cold, hot, or just fresh air. This would be a cooling unit where it'll be submerged inside of sand that will be kept damp at all times. The air will be pushed through and cooled off. The hot air will travel all the way back up into this very, very top of the greenhouse to these hot boxes. They're black boxes with a labyrinth-like structure for the air to spend as much time inside them, heating up. This hot air will then be pumped back down into the basement and then distributed through the air vents throughout the house. The off-grid electrical system will use solar panels, which will send their energy down to the basement to where we have our main electrical control panel. But there will also be multiple cells of earth batteries and crystal batteries, which, just like solar panels, give small amounts of electricity that can be stored in batteries. The entire solar system would end up costing roughly $4,000. It will be a 12 kilowatt system, which should be more than enough power for any typical household. Unfortunately, I was not able to wire up the top lights only because of the limitations of using a single level in the game that we're making this on.
Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. We'll see well-defined there's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with your imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be. If you want a real paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it, only change the world. There's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with your imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be.
Here in the bathrooms, I had to stop sculpting only because the limitation on memory for building so much in a single level. You can see the hot and cold water lines coming in where it would normally attach to a shower head. There would also be faucets, and the bathtub would be sculpted to look like a natural waterfall, just like in the greenhouse. These will be storage closets that we have down in the basement for extra supplies, food, things like that. This will be our walk-in refrigerator. It's more like a root cellar because it will use no energy, only the condensed cooled air that we have pumped down from the basement. There's a second cooling coil that will be inside this enclosed box to act like a freezer. This is what I've been calling the alchemy room, only because I have done some small experiments where we've created our own little things for projects, and we've made our own batteries, we've made many things.
Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you wanna view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Wanna change the world? There's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with your imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you choose to be. If you wanna view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Wanna change the world? There's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with your imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want a view of paradise, sound to view it. Oh, anything you want to do it. Wanna change the world? There's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly. If you wanna view paradise, simply close your eyes and see what. Wanna be a dreamer, be one. Wanna change the world. There's work to be done. There is work to